Hello everyone and welcome back to African Tech Gurus. This is your number one channel where we learn coding by actually doing it, and we dive into the concepts and make sure we understand each and every single bit. If you are new, welcome. Please do us a big favor and subscribe. It supports us and it helps us know what content to create and how to help each and every single one of us learn better. If you are a returning subscriber, we thank you so much for coming back, for ensuring that we learn together on this exciting journey. And today we're going to cover function pointers. It is one of the concepts that we're supposed to do today. And in function pointers, there are several links that we have been provided for us to look at them. So I'll just provide a very condensed version of that, but you also do your own further research. So what are function pointers? So the first thing you need to make sure you understand is what is a pointer and also what is a function. So the first is what is a function, and this is a simple way of declaring a normal function. So we have the name of the function, which is multiply, and this is its return value, so it will return an integer to us, and this function will take in two arguments or two parameters. It will take in two integers, integer a and integer b, and what will happen is it will multiply those two integers and return the multiplication value of the two, which is an integer form. So now we already know what a function is. So what is a pointer? A pointer is just a special variable, and it will just help us store the memory address of another variable per se, or another function, which is what we're going to cover today. So a pointer just tells you where the specific data that you're looking for is stored, and it is as simple as that. So now that we know what a function is and what a pointer is, now what is a function pointer? So a function pointer is just a special pointer which will point to a function. It's that simple. So instead of it now pointing to another variable which will have a value or the specific data that it stores, a function pointer points to a function, which is different from the normal pointers, which are pointing to data or value. So we always use the asterisk operator to indicate that a variable is a pointer. So we will see that, and also I'm so sure if you've done pointers, which is a previous exercise, then you must remember this. If you've not watched the previous video where we're explaining about pointers, please do so that you're able to understand today's concept. So the next thing that you're going to do is, now how do we declare a function pointer? So I want us to look at something. So we had looked at how to declare a function, and we've said that we use the asterisk. We use the asterisk in front of the name of the function in order for us to create a function pointer. But remember that in this case we have our function, which is called multiply, and on one end, which is on its left, it has the asterisk, which is indicating that this is supposed to be a pointer, but on the right it has the parentheses and two arguments inside it, which now will point to it being a function. So at the end of the day, these two will be competing for the value or for the variable multiply, which is the function name. So what happens in this case is, because of precedence, which is what will come first and what will be given first priority and what will be given a hold or a wait, is in this case the function parentheses will be given importance or more priority. So in this case, this will be a function that will return a pointer to an integer. So the first thing that this will do is it will work on this first, which will be creating the function which will have two integers, A and B. And then now after that, what happens next is it does the pointer declaration. So it will now be whatever these two arguments have been passed, these are pointers of type integer, of course. So that is what will happen. So this might not be the best way, and it's not the correct way of doing this, because this is not giving us what we want. What we want is we want a function pointer, not a function that is returning pointers to us. I hope you are able to understand that, because this over here is returning is a function that is returning pointers. So the function is called multiply, and it takes in two arguments, a and b, which are both integers, and these two integers are pointers. I hope you get that. So we've not got the address of the function multiply. What is happening is this function is storing other addresses, which is not what we want. So for us to be able to declare a function pointer, we need to make sure that we put parentheses where we have the asterisk and multiply, which will indicate first to the compiler that we first want to create this to be a pointer. Let it be a pointer first, and then what will happen next is this will be the function bit of it. So the function will contain two integers, or will take two arguments of type integers, which is integer a and integer b, and we know that multiply is a pointer to a function, and at the end of the day it will return an integer. So this is what will help us get a function pointer. So the asterisk, as we've looked previously, it helps us have this be a pointer, or it helps us declare a pointer. And here we are declaring the pointer multiply, and we are excluding and specifically saying that by using the parentheses here to make sure that we are using and declaring a pointer. So it has, if you don't put the brackets, you mess up and you get very different results. So by simply putting brackets around the name of the function and have an asterisk in front of the name of the function, you have simply declared a function pointer. And the rest, or the other bit which is to the right, will be the specific arguments and parameters that the function will take in. So make sure you use the parentheses. If you don't, you'll have completely different results. So the next thing now that we can look at is how do we assign the address now of a function to a function pointer. So here we have our main function, and it has this. So here we are declaring the function pointer. So this is the pointer. Our pointer is called PTR, and it is a function pointer that takes in two arguments of type integers and returns an integer back to us. So this is how you can declare it by itself. And the next thing is, now we want to see the address of our function which we have looked at previously. So this is our function, it's called multiply. I think I need to also change it here. It should be multiply. So now we do have multiply, which is our function, and by using the ampersand sign we are just getting its address and storing it in our variable ptr, and ptr is a pointer. So remember, pointers only store the addresses of whatever it is that you're passing into it, and here we are passing the address of our function which is called multiply. So now we can move to the next, which is another way and a simpler way of doing it, I think, where you can declare and assign all at the same time. This should be multiply. So you can declare and assign at the same time. So instead of doing it separately, as we've looked at here, where you declare in the first instance and assign the address of your function in the next instance, you can as well do that all at once in one instance, and it just depends on which one you prefer. So the next thing that I want us to look at is an example of how we can do this. And here we do have our main function. This is our main function, and here we have declared our integer called result, which will contain the result of our multiplication. And the other thing that we're doing here, we are now declaring the pointer. This is the pointer that we want to have. This is the pointer that we want to have. And here we have this, what I'm highlighting. We have declared and initialized the pointer, so the function pointer. So here we do have our function called multiply, and if you just call it like this on the right, it will just simply get the address of multiply, which is our function, and just assign it to our function pointer, which is called ptr. And at the end of the day, when we want to now use the function multiply, we simply just need to use the function pointer, which will now go ahead and pick whatever code is there and run it. And here what we're doing is we want to get the multiplication of 5 and 10. So we already have our function already declared somewhere, and its body is somewhere, so it can be above this code. And what will happen is it will multiply 5 and 10, which is 50, of course, and 50 will be stored in our variable, which we had declared initially over here. And at last, it will print the result, which is 50. So function pointers are very useful because we don't have to have the entire body of the function in our code. We simply need to reference it for us to be able to do whatever it is that we want to do. So I hope this has been an enlightening and very simple way of understanding function pointers. If there's any question, please let us know. If there's any other specific topic you'd want us to cover, also let us know. We'll be very willing to do that so that we all learn and become better African tech gurus. So thank you so much for watching today's video, and make sure you give it a thumbs up, make sure you share it with a friend, and if you've not yet subscribed, please do subscribe because it supports us and it helps us support the learning journey for each and every single one of you. Thank you so much, and until next time, happy coding.